want to start first?
Oh, maybe we let the man start first.
The chief judge.
Chief judge.
No one's right. Thank you so much. So first of all, I would like to congratulate all the tutors and researchers and mentors for all your hard works in preparing for this IMCC. So I know that during this hard time of pandemic, so it's very difficult for all of you to sit down together and discuss, prepare for the memorials and prepare for the oral submissions. So because of being separated from each other due to this pandemic. However, judging from the oral submissions and also the memorials submitted and prepared, so I believe that you have done a very good job, right? But all in all, that there are still rooms for improvement. So never ever stop improving yourself, right? Though you have been in this semi-final round, so any of you will go to the final round. So please do not stop enjoying and improving yourselves like this kind of competition. So it's very good to participate in this kind of mooting competition, so that it would develop your confidence and also your research skills, your analytical skills, right? So and also your listening skills, especially on the questions posed from the bench, right? So sometimes that because of this, you're getting nervous. You feel like, oh my God, the judges are keeping bombarding me with so many questions and so on. So just be relaxed. You have done the research, you have done the reading, right? You know your facts, you know your law. Just listen to the questions very carefully, right? So you may take 1 or 2 seconds to prepare the answer and then reply, right? So I noticed that some of you were buying sometimes. Whenever the judges ask you questions, you may say that, thank you for pointing that out. Thank you for for your questions and so on. So with these few seconds, then, you may construct ideas and answers in your mind. But, time is an essence as well, because you are running out of time, because you have many things to be submitted. So just pause and then reply, right? So you may say that once in a while, but do not, say it all the time, because the judges might get irritated with all this. Now, secondly, I would like to say about or give comments about rebuttals and rebuttals. Whenever the appellant has its opportunity to present and submit, its submissions or their submissions, right? At that time, you may use the opponent's memorials to be part of your arguments. You may say that the respondent mentioned in their memorial page this and paragraph this, that this and this and this, and then you reply, right, in advance. When this happened, then the respondent came. So the respondent will always need to respond to whatever been raised by the appellant during their submissions, right? So if this happened, then during the rebuttals, the appellant will come and respond and rebut to whatever that have been raised by the respondent during their substantive arguments. They are during their oral submissions, not in their memorial, because you already have the chance to rebut from their memorials during your substantive submissions earlier, not later, right? So that is why, if you can see that my learned judge, Nurul Huda, she asked about whether the appellant would like to respond on contributory negligence, where the respondent has raised during their substantive arguments, right? So all this you must take into consideration and think. Now, regarding the application of the law, right? Some of you have cited quite a number of cases, right? These are all very good authorities, but as my learned senior, I mean, my learned sister judges have asked you many, many times, how do you apply those cases? How do you compare the facts of the case that you have cited into the present case? How do you apply them? So that is what what we are looking for. Whether the facts that you have submitted from those cases are similar, which part of the facts are similar, which part of the principles are to be applied into the current case. If it is not, because we have heard from the cases that you have submitted, the facts are not similar. Some of the cases are from contract, from employment law and so on, from labor courts and so on. So these situations, though they are not similar, then how do you distinguish the facts and whether the principles are still applicable in the current case? So this is what we want to hear. Right. So I believe that my learned sisters have other things to say in highlights. That's all from me. Thank you.
Maybe I go first. Is that okay? Okay, just a short one from me. Anyway, well done, everyone. I think it's a very good effort, especially, I don't know if you all have voted before or if this is your first time. So anyway, it is always challenging, and we are always learning. Even when you practice as a lawyer, that nervous feeling doesn't really go away. Like I if I go to the Court of Appeal, federal court, I still get nervous. So it is natural to feel that way. Okay, but I think some of you, when you were nervous, it was very obvious. So this is something you need to learn for those later going to the final stage. If you ask something that you are not sure, sometimes it's actually okay to say it in a way. It depends, how it's said, but don't make it so obvious that you do not know, because it will reflect on your performance. So you can say something like, for example, if you are really going to address it in your next point, and you can just move it. You sort of have to probably reshuffle your argument. So be prepared to make impromptu changes, because at the end of the day, I think everything you prepared for, it's still the questions asked will still be within the boundaries of things that you're prepared for. So, so for example, the judge asks something that you're probably going to address in your second point. You just have to adjust, but actually you know the answer. So and if you need to pause, you can pause for maybe not too long. Take 10 or 20 seconds to just think about how you're going to say it before answering the question. I think a general comment, most of you needed extension of time. I think it's also because the judges had many questions. We're sorry for that, but it's also to know how you're able to answer questions and all that. But it's very important that time management is taken seriously, because a lot of you had good points which were later dealt with, or you were not able to deal with it extensively. Some of you had minor points that were taken up front. So think about putting your stronger points first and your weaker points later. Because if you don't have enough time, at least you've dealt with the important points first. I'll give an example. I think one of the notice just now, Nurul Aziani, I think your first point, you spent a lot of time talking about duty of care, that there was a doctor-patient relationship, and I think you spent about 5 minutes just on this point. For me, I don't think that's a big dispute. No one is saying that there was no patient-doctor relationship thing. So maybe you should not spend too much time on that. This is just an example, okay? In your rebuttal, it's very good. Everything was more concise, and you were able to do it much more confidently. So I think that's all from me. Thank you.
Hi. Yeah. First of all, thank you for inviting me, and congratulations. You are all my juniors. I'm a very proud senior here. But just a general comment as well. I think on the application of law, most of you, I think all of you need to develop it. Because maybe I couldn't really follow how you apply, for example, the medicine, the medicine just now, reciprocal equator, and then the way you apply the case and the facts is it's so simplistic that I mean there's no what we call analysis. It's not a long analysis, but just telling you this case like this, but it's different in our case because of what, because of the court adopt what in that case, something like that, so that we couldn't get we couldn't get the law that you apply with the fact. And then I think court manner is good, and then like what Puan Nurul Huda said just now, you seems nervous, but tak berapa nampak because it's virtual. Kalau depan-depan tu I think sangat obvious lah, because some of you macam eye contact tu, we know that you're nervous, so doesn't mean that you tak bergerak, we cannot see it, okay, because your eye contact is everywhere, especially whenever you're being asked with question or being bombarded with questions, especially question from Dr. Farid. Okay, so some of you like is like, oh my god, macam dia macam situasi yang macam tu tau, macam mana nak jawab ni, macam tu. So love to see your my juniors involved or taking part in mooting. Other matters I think being covered by Dr. Farid and Puan Huda, so I don't think any other else that I need to comment on. It's just that Q&A you need to approve, you need to improve, and then on part of reference like quoting books or anonymous neurologists just now, please avoid it. Please give some authoritative text or someone, if you want to refer to books, you need to mention who is the author. Okay, only prominent author is usually we refer to in cases and whatnot, so that we know what is the principles they laid down, whether we can follow the principles or not. So avoid quoting some authority that is not really known. Better to refer to cases, because I think medical negligence is not something that is really odd in Malaysia. But I know, yeah, because of the syllabus that you are not, I'm not sure whether you have you have learned part or not. Most of you first or second year. Is it first or second year?
First year.
First year. Okay, that's good. I have no comment. I have no further comment. I think most of you did very well, but those who will go to final, just take whatever comments that judges have reflected to you. Thank you.
So another point is that do not stop learning, and do not stop joining at mooting competitions like this, because the more you involve, the more you participate, the more you will improve yourself, right? So sometimes I know that bila you dah kena teruk, you kena balon teruk dalam Q&A, so you rasa serik. So perhaps that, you know, you never experience things such as this, you know, tak cukup tidur, right? You know, so many times to be spent to prepare for memorials, to do your research, to do the readings, right? To prepare for oral submissions. You rasa macam, this is going to be the first and this is also going to be the last, right? So do not have that kind of, you know, mentality. So take this as a challenge and things that be of your interest so that you could improve in the future. Perhaps that this is gonna be the first step for you to become better and better, right? So I also experienced the same, right, when I was in your shoes before. So keep on, right, joining, and you will be good oralist in the future whenever you keep yourself improved, right? So I would like to see all of you to shine, right, brighter, right, in the future. That's all. Thank you.
Okay, thank you so much to Mr. Farid, to Ms. Nur Quratul Aini and Mr. Sunul Huda for all the comments and all the motivation. So, we will now proceed with the photography session. And everyone, please look into your cameras and smile. Wait a minute.
So tomorrow they gonna mengadu-ngadu dengan I lah dalam kelas. These are all my students. My first year student.
Okay, everyone take a look at the camera. 1, 2, 3. Again, 1, 2, 3. Okay, wait a minute. I want to check the picture whether is it okay or not. Okay, so I want to pass this floor to the committee first, to Izhar, for